lovely friends. This is the one fangirl. Now, this is my first video, and today we will be reading a fanfiction on Wattpad. I do hope that you enjoy. Or not. Chapter 1. Mr. Yeager, please sit over here, the doctor instructed me, ushering me to the small room and towards the bed. Here, take this. He grabbed some sterile dressing pads and pressed them over the bleeding wound on my left arm, which made me wince a little. Apply pressure to it, Mr. Yeager. That will ease the bleeding a bit. Yeah, sure, I replied, clearly disgusted by the sticky feeling of the crimson fluid on my skin. Don't take it off, the doctor warned, until I come back. Come back? What do you mean, come back? Where are you going? I asked, furrowing my brow. Mr. Yeager, you are not the only wounded person in this facility, I believe. I have other soldiers in this hospital that I have to take care of. Some of them have been severely wounded. I can't just leave them, he explained, trying to keep his tone calm. Hey, but I'm bleeding here. You'll be fine, sir, he assured me, stepping toward the door. I'll be back as soon as possible. Just make sure to hold your arm up. That'll help slowing down the blood flow. And just like that, he rushed out of the room, shutting the door behind him. Seriously? I was so frustrated. What can one do to receive some decent medical treatment in this place? I felt like squeezing the pain out of my arm and shutting it out. The blow that I had received over my arm was totally unexpected, but it was not enough to hold me back from fighting. However, the pain that followed after the battle had ended was unbearable. I did not like the feeling or the sight of the thick blood flowing from my gashed arm. My wound was not going to behave unless it got stitched. But annoyingly enough, Dr. Lebrecht was off somewhere taking care of other patients while I sat there in that small cell along with my agony. Oh, you poor person. After a period of 15 minutes or so, Dr. Lebrecht came back to me, craning his head from behind the door. Finally, I huffed. I'm sorry for the wait, Mr. Yeager. It is crazily busy out here, the doctor apologized. Sure. Are you going to stitch my wound now or what? I just came back to check on you, sir, but I will have to leave you for now. You have got to be kidding me. What? Are you kidding me? I exclaimed. I'm really sorry. I'll send my assistant to tend to you. What kind of doctor is he? Seriously though, people. What kind of doctor is he? Just great, I scoffed cautiously. She's a lovely nurse. She will take care of your injury. I snorted at the information, rolling my eyes at the doctor, who simply left me once again all alone in the room. I sighed exasperately in an attempt to calm myself down. I was so nettled by the situation, I almost decided to stitch the wound myself. Oh my. And that wouldn't be the wisest thing to do, would it? I certainly don't think so. Not too long after that, I heard light footsteps approaching my cell, followed by the creaking of the door as someone from outside slid it open. I snatched my sight from the red smirch on my arm at the person who had just walked in the room. Simultaneously, my eyes widened in astonishment from the unexpected form that has come in sight. I am so sorry to keep you waiting, sir, she spoke. Interesting. I was too occupied with gazing into the catching hue of her eyes and the apologetic smile on her lips that I could not bring myself to respond. Oh my goodness. I think somebody's got a crush. Big time. I couldn't bring myself to respond properly to her. The previous whining attitude of mine was then gone. It simply vanished. Like poof, vanished. My name is... Insert your name here. Dr. Lebrecht sent me here, she informed me. Was all I could mouth. I didn't know what had gotten into me that very moment. I was thunderstruck, I guess. There was something about her that had captured me entirely. I could no longer think rationally. I must have looked like a big, dumb, staring so attentively at her. Stop staring at her, I commanded myself. But... ... But funny, I could not control my own actions. How could I not look at her? I kept scrutinizing her, but not rudely, of course. Oh, of course, why would you want to scrutinize someone? Especially someone who is like this. Seriously, people. Answer that. Seriously. Oh, you know what? Forget it. She drew closer to me, scanning my arm with her eyes. It's not too awful, but I'm sure it hurts, she said softly. I bet it does hurt a lot. Yeah. Her voice was the sweetest thing to my ears yet. As she began to clean my wound, I kept my eyes fixed studiously on her, marveling at her beautiful face with all of its unblemished features. It was only then that I became to notice it. She was blushing. Her cheeks were a slightly deeper shade of red than the rest of her visage. She was blushing. Oh my. So I wasn't the only one with a flushed face after all. Oh dear. When did I... When did I even begin acting like this? So uncool. I was aware that the more I stared at her, the darker my blushing face would turn. But why couldn't I tear my eyes away from her? She went on with the procedure, stitching my angry wound, using a surgical suture with an aseptic needle. I flinched slightly at the appalling scene, and she noticed it. "Am I hurting you?" she asked worriedly. No, I assured her. She wasn't hurting me for real. I would never have believed that someone could be so delicate while doing their job, having such talented hands, fingers as soft as feathers. She did her job so professionally and so nicely, I barely felt the needle piercing my skin. "Don't gaze at the wound," she instructed. Oh my goodness. Yep, it's definitely a crush. Definitely a crush. And being the fangirl that I am, I ship it. Huh? It will only make it seem more painful. Oh, but of course. All right. As if I needed an excuse to feast my eyes on the purity of her face and the rosy dust of her cheeks. She looked like an angel. "Here, we're done," she sighed, relieved. Thank you," I muttered. My eyes did not part from her slender form as she went on wrapping the freshly stitched wound with bandages. Amazing, isn't it? Just simply amazing. I was certain that she was well aware of my constant gaze on her, judging by the obvious blush on her face. I ship it! Sorry guys. It's Hell Fangirl. Okay. After she was finished with covering my wound quite neatly, she turned the